Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This is my first video in about 3 weeks. This video is going to be fairly short, just kind of an update on where some things are in the political world. First I'm going to start off with the biggest news, which is Kamala Harris was nominated to be Joe Biden's vice president. She's the first woman of Asian descent and the first African-American woman nominated to a major party ticket. She is the current senator of California, but she will most likely resign her seat if she is elected vice president. And I think that this was a pretty smart decision by the Biden campaign. Personally, I thought that they should maybe pick someone like Gretchen Whitmer or Tammy Duckworth, who would appeal to the critical battleground region of the Midwest. However, I think Kamala Harris was, in the end, the right choice because of her name recognition and the fact that she is a national figure. People across the nation know her. They know her name. They know what she stands for. And she appeals to more areas the Democrats want to win, such as Florida, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona. But I think she also will appeal to voters in the critical Midwestern states. So that is some very big news. I don't really think Kamala Harris increases or decreases or changes Joe Biden's chances in several states. National polls have, in the last 3 weeks, gotten a lot closer, but I think that's because Election Day is getting closer and closer. But we will see if Kamala Harris has any real impact. Next to other things that have happened in the last few weeks have been both parties' conventions. Both the Democrats and Republicans had their conventions. Joe Biden was, of course, nominated, as was Donald Trump. The Democratic convention took place in Milwaukee, but also all across America, and Joe Biden made his speech in Wilmington, Delaware. The best speech I watched at the DNC was actually Jill Biden's speech. I encourage all of you who are interested to go watch Jill Biden's speech. The Republican convention was in different places, but it was ended at the White House, where Donald Trump accepted the Republican nomination for president. So, two things that have gone on in the last few weeks. First, Ed Markey successfully defeated Joe Kennedy in the Democratic Senate primary in Massachusetts. Whoever won will most certainly win, because Democrats will win in Massachusetts. It's a safe state on the Senate level, not so much on the governor level. Massachusetts has a Republican governor, but on the Senate level, Ed Markey will surely win. Joe Kennedy, initially, when he announced he was running, he led by almost double digits, but Ed Markey kind of came back. Joe Kennedy didn't really answer the question why he was running. He kind of just seemed like he wanted to win. It was also, the whole privilege thing was thrown around, which he is a Kennedy. He comes from a political dynasty in the state of Massachusetts, so people thought he just wanted to follow in his family's footsteps. But nevertheless, Ed Markey won by about 10 points. Next, in Kansas, Republican Roger Marshall successfully defeated Chris Kobach. Here's the map. Marshall is definitely a more popular figure than Chris Kobach. I think that Chris Kobach losing this primary was really good for the Republicans, as it looked like if it was Chris Kobach versus Barbara Bollier, Bollier would have had a pretty decent chance at flipping that seat. But I think with Roger Marshall running to be the next senator from Kansas, it puts that seat more solidly in the hands of the Republicans. So that will affect our Senate map. Moving forward with the national polling. National polling has stayed somewhat the same. Biden, over the summer, his lead has fallen by about 2 points. It's unclear if there's a specific cause for that or it's just because the election's getting closer. But his lead has not dipped down into small numbers yet. However, his lead in, I'm going to look at polling data in every state, but we're going to look at 2 states right now. His polling in Florida has gotten tighter. Now, an average of polls puts him within 3 points. If you're not familiar with polling data, 3.5 is the margin of error. Personally, I like to call it 4 points, but nevertheless, most pollers say it's 3.5. So right now in Florida, Biden only ahead by 2.8. This was a state that Biden got up to a 7-point lead in. So Florida is definitely getting closer. This might have been more affected by a Trafalgar Group poll. For those of you who don't know, the Trafalgar Group was one of the only pollsters who correctly predicted the 2016 outcome. I believe they are a Republican polling group. They may or may not be, but they did predict 2016, and they have some polls out that show Trump with some leads in states that many would not expect him to be leading in. But we also see this Quinnipiac poll that shows Biden only up by 3, so maybe Florida is as close as the polls are showing. Next is Pennsylvania, another critical swing state with its 20 electoral votes, which is now under 5 points of Biden lead. I'm going to look at these Monmouth University polls, which show Biden up by 1, Biden up by 3, and Biden up by 4. So certainly some change, as Biden was doing quite well in the state with a 6-7 point lead. We'll have to see what happens in these states. Will it get within 1%? Will Trump lead in any of these states? Or will Biden rebound? So that's all for this video, just kind of an overview of things that have happened. In the next, I believe, 4 videos, I'm going to be breaking the presidential election down by region. I'll be doing one for the West Coast, one for the Midwest, one for the South, one for the Mountain West, and one for the East. And I might add a 5th somewhere in there. But I will be breaking the electoral map down by region. I'll also be doing an updated Senate video soon. All right, that is all.